Hello, welcome to Charlie's Chats. Um, so how are you all? It's coming to the end of the weekend, so I'm guessing you're either chilling or busy getting things ready for work, or if you've got kids for school tomorrow. I often get lost with the days; they just seem to merge all into one. Um, so it's a bit like a Groundhog Day. Um, I was trying to think of what to talk about today, and I wanted to talk about disabilities in terms of being in a wheelchair. Um, I tend to think a lot, which people who know me know that I'm somebody who will maybe overthink things or let things just go round and round and round my head. And I, I'm somebody who thinks about things from different perspectives. So, for example, a wheelchair, some people might say, Charlie, why are you going to talk about a wheelchair? Well, I want to talk about a wheelchair because I want to talk about people's perceptions of being in a wheelchair, or how people who are wheelchair users, or um, because there is a difference in terms of a wheelchair user to a person who uses a wheelchair. So, a wheelchair user is somebody like me where, yes, I can wait there. So I, but I still need a wheelchair to get around and to keep me safe when I have attacks, compared to somebody who's in a wheelchair, meaning they are maybe in a wheelchair since birth, or for conditions like cerebral palsy, or any kind of condition like that where they rely on the wheelchair 100% of the time. So um, I mentioned in one of the videos that there should be a brain sign in the wheelchair, in the parking spaces for those with mental illnesses. Or maybe they should have some pills or some kind of sign like that to say, okay, I've got a disability, it's not visible, but I'm just going to park up in the paracetamol bay, or whatever. Or that way the antidepressant bay is just there on the right hand side, that kind of thing. So you typically have the sign of wheelchair. And I've wondered who created that sign of what looks like just some guy sat on either half a lemon or something very. He's not. I'm just looking at it now. There, he's not sat on anything. He looks rather uncomfortable, if I'm honest. So yeah, I mean, don't know where this person got their wheelchair from, but look, don't know who created this symbol. Maybe that's something that I have to find out for another day. But I can talk about my experience, and I say my experience because it's not everybody's individual, everybody's different. It's not the same for every person, but I found as with I suffered from tics a lot during my 20s, and it must have been for a couple of years. And I had this really, really annoying tic, and I used to have to bang my chest like this twice, and then knock my head back. Hang on, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 times. So I was constantly getting these urges and feelings, and I couldn't help it. I was going like this, going like that all the time. And not only did it actually hurt my chest, it hurt my neck a lot. I was often in chronic pain from having this tic. Um, for the 90s kids, one tick I had at a particular point was from Pikachu, and it's went Pika, 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 which as I was walking down a particular high street, I was ticking, and I just remember being looked at, and just I was looking behind, just joining in, thinking, well, no, oh, who's that? Who's doing that? That didn't come out of my mouth. Luckily, swearing wasn't one of my tics. That's just me. Sometimes I swear a lot, but what I wanted to say was, with that, people used to treat me differently in terms of complete strangers going to a shop, buying something, somebody at the checkout being really chatty and really friendly as you're either there banging your chest and knocking your head back, and they're just asking you about your day and everything, and you're thinking, please just be quiet, let me just go, I want to go. And I remember once I nearly forgot to take some money out of the checkout machines, and the lady said, "Oh, there you go, lovely," or something similar to that. But I do find that some people do. Maybe there are nice people in the world. I'm sure there are nice people in the world. But sometimes you think, are you pitying me, or are you like this with every customer? And I would love to actually see. And I'd like to think that if it was me, it would just be me being my normal self. But sometimes you think, you know, don't pity me. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I've made jokes before about going into a tattoo place with a couple of friends, and on the door it said, come on in. Oh, no, sorry, it says we do walk-ins, that was it. And I said, oh, do you do wheel-ins? And the guy just looked at me, and I said, I'm joking. And it's for me, I have to take the mick out myself, and I wouldn't kind of want anybody to think that I would say that kind of thing to them, or think about saying it, unless I knew them really, really well. But for me, I have to joke. I mean, in my wheelchair, I can do wheelies, and not very good ones, but I can do that. And you can tell that I have too much time on my hands. So that's one of the things that I can do. I think sometimes, as soon as you mention disabled, or as soon as someone can see you in a wheelchair, you kind of clocked. They know that there's a person in a wheelchair in the vicinity. What am I going to do? But you do get some people who move out of the way, and then you get others who don't. And I think, for me, a real pet hate is if you're in the shop and somebody leans right over you to grab something, instead of just saying, excuse me, so I can go forward, they'll lean over to grab something. Or people will talk down to you. I find that very patronising. And some people think that I'm a lot shorter than I actually am. So I have been told before that, no, Charlie, you must be 5 foot or something. I said, no, and I will say, no, I'm 5'6". I am 5'6", by the way. But sitting down, I'm not 5'6". And I think the reaction that you get is, I say it's difficult for me just to accept that maybe someone's just being nice because then they're nice, rather than maybe because they're being nice because they pity you or they feel sorry for you, or all of these kind of things. But I think another instance, I think being in a wheelchair, yes, you do get access to disabled toilets and, parking, if there is any parking, but it's been over a year since I've been in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair has kept me safe. I'm not going to lie, it's been in a lot of battles, and it's flipped over several times whilst I'm in it, and don't ask, just don't go there. But it's been in the walls, and it has sellotape and cable ties which hold bits up. But it's lasted me just over a year, and when I think about it, I never forget. You never forget when you weren't in it. I know when I wasn't in it because I was doing a lot more. I had that life, had that independence. When you're in a wheelchair, although it is keeping, and for me, it's the risk that, because in the past, if I've had an attack and I'm standing, I will literally just fall back onto the ground or drop. And it's to keep me safe, and especially with carers as well. It limits the likelihood of me having a fall if I'm in the chair whilst I'm having an attack. And for me, it's kept me safe, I guess. And I wouldn't say it's given me independence, because I can't go anywhere on my own, because if I have an attack in a wheelchair, it's still not, I can't go off on my own because of that. And for me, it was hard to accept initially. And then when I started to become a lot weaker because I wasn't exercising or couldn't exercise, I felt a lot of anger and hatred towards this wheelchair. And it's quite a sturdy one. It's like a little monster truck, to be honest, because the tyres are like the same width of the ones that you'd get on some kind of off-road one. This is an all-terrain one, and it's so it goes off-road, and so it's good. It is good. And I mean, it's good if, say, you need a seat and say you need a seat and everyone's standing. Great, I've already got my own seat. Bought that, tick. I don't know how it would feel to not have it, to not rely on it. There are times when I've had paramedics out when I haven't wanted to go in, purely based on the fact that I need the wheelchair, and not all crews will take the wheelchair. And there's that anxiety of, but I can't get around, and I can't walk. Like I used to, and as far, it's too risky if I do have an attack that I'm going to fall. And at one point I was having a lot of falls because I was pushing myself too much, not really listening to my body and thinking, actually, you need to accept that you can't do things. And I couldn't accept that I couldn't do certain things. And then would end up in me falling and hurting myself. So what does a wheelchair mean to you? has it given you more independence? And what's everybody's thoughts about being in a wheelchair? Do you think that people are maybe nicer? I mean, there was this one point when I was in Cafe Nero, and this lady just handed me 2 full Nero cards with stamps, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to use them." I thought, "Why are you going to use them?" And to me, I just, I was polite, I said thank you, but to me, I automatically think, oh, she's only giving it to me because I'm in a wheelchair. Because I've never had that before when I without the wheelchair, and then nobody ever gave that to me then. So I automatically jump on the defensive, kind of like, well, she's not giving it because she's being nice, she's giving it because I'm in a wheelchair. Most people will be really grateful for that, but I was looking at all the reasons as to why she gave me those. And I mean, relying on a wheelchair and then relying on somebody to push you in a wheelchair, that is also quite frustrating. I think if there's anybody who is the worst person who pushes me, has to be my dad. He has only pushed me once, and I will not have him push me again. He thinks it's like Mario Kart or something, and that you can just push the person left, right, anyway, go around, swerve around, miss all the pedals, I don't know, go over the gratings, do anything like that. He forgets that there's a person sat in the chair, and just despite me trying to hit him over the head, it's very hard to have that control over where you're going. And my dad was completely doing more like off-road pushing, and I had to keep saying to him, can you just stop, I'll do it, because you're going too fast and you're just pushing me. But I had somebody who I was in hospital, and she came up behind me. I didn't see, and just started pushing me all the way around this room, going round in circles, she was going fast, and I was saying to her, stop, you need to stop. Thought I was going to hit the wall. And yeah, I've had people say, a person say to me, you're lucky to be in a wheelchair. That person did receive negative reaction, which involved her Zimmer frame going flying. And this wasn't in public, by the way. And yeah, be good to hear people's thoughts. I don't know how others find medication and everything. I think the last few days I've felt very, very kind of drowsy, which I put down to my medications. And so I apologise if I seem a bit slurry. I haven't been drinking, I promise. But yeah, so yesterday I felt so tired. And I do feel tired today. But you know that the tiredness where you just feel that your body can't cope without that rest. So I've taken a little bit out of my own advice, and I'm saying that I'm going to rest. So on that note, I'm going to say bye for now, folks.